You made the case for continued aid to Israel based on the fact that it could possibly restrain Israel in its fight in the West Bank and in, obviously right now in Gaza. You also made the case for continued aid to Ukraine based on the fact that Russia is engaged in a war of aggression and that it would be the moral thing to do to help the Ukrainians. Would it not be the moral thing to do to provide material aid then to the Palestinians instead of to Israel if the case for aid to Israel is to protect Palestinian civilians?
I think if there was a moral case to be made for Palestinians to do things like October 7th in Israel, I would agree, but I don't think there's a case for that. Right now, I'm pretty sure Palestinians are the largest recipient per capita of humanitarian aid in the entire world. And the United States leads that contribution of humanitarian aid, so they already get a ton of humanitarian aid. In terms of military support, I don't particularly like the idea of funding an Islamist, actual avowed stated government whose goal is to destroy, a U.S. ally. So no, I don't think that any sort of military aid should ever be given to people like Hamas. I don't consider them at all to be equivalent or the same as defending the Ukrainian government or even defending Israel against attackers that they have.
You mentioned the fact that the United States is providing aid to Israel, not just because it's an occurring conflict with the Palestinians, but because it's a U.S. ally. What actual strategic purpose does Israel serve for the United States?
So I think right now the axis that's kind of formed is you've got Iran, you've got Syria, you've kind of got Iraq, and then you've got the Iranian proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis, and then that's all supported kind of by Russia and China. And I think that axis, I think Iran calls it their axis of resistance. That right now is standing in opposition to OPEC states that we support, like Saudi Arabia, and Israel has kind of become a part of that. I think that if we give up Israel and we allow them to fall into the influence of other people, that coalition that we built in the Middle East basically completely and totally falls apart. And then I think you'll see all of the other countries, the UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and then even Egypt would start to fall in the direction of Russia or Chinese influence. And I think given the importance of the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea and the Suez Canal, that trade route being completely and totally 100% owned and operated by enemies of the United States that don't share interests, I think would be a really scary future to be a part of. So I think supporting Israel and Saudi Arabia and that kind of defensive link against the Iran axis of resistance that they call it, it's also supported by Russia and China, I think is really important there. So that's kind of what I view the lens of the Israeli stuff through right now.